Yeah, okay. Sorry, Matt, I should let you
You're good.
do that. Yeah, it was, Incarnate Word coming into this game, there was a lot of unknowns that we had. They, have, I think, 7 or 8 new players and a brand new coach, first time head coach, so, you just don't know exactly what you're gonna see. You might have a few ideas, but, you really don't. And we had no film from their exhibition games either. It was a challenge, and I was a little worried about it because we're so young, and you want to be able to send a young team in feeling really, really prepared. And, we just told them, you've got to trust your principles, you got to trust what you do, the game's got to be more about you than them anyways, and be ready for some in-game adjustments. And we had to make those because Incarnate Word had some things this early that we really hadn't seen yet. And I liked being able to see not just our first 5 make these adjustments, but then our depth be ready to execute those as well.
Were there any nerves or jitters for those young players before their first game?
Probably a little bit. I mean, they'd probably be lying if they didn't feel a little bit. And, I told them if you feel it, that's okay, embrace it, because it just means it means something to you. And you want to go do well for your team. It's funny too that it seems like players nowadays, they play so much basketball before they get to college. They play so much that they're not numb to the games, but they're just more prepared to the lights being on. And we have I think a freshman group that have played kind of on as big of a stage pretty much as you can, Amber with USA Basketball and a lot of our girls nationals. So they weren't as nervous, I think, but maybe they will when it gets to be Big 12 play.
You mentioned depth. I think it was 9 players with at least 18 minutes. Is that kind of just what the head coach ordered with such a young team at the beginning of the year?
Well, we want to get them as much experience as we can, and I would love to be able to have a rotation that gets us at least 10 deep, and that allows us to be able to stay fresh on the floor, mentally and physically, and that really helps us as we go deep into the season. Looking at our team last year, and even in the year before when we couldn't go as deep, I know fatigue played a factor at the end of the year. We were tired, I think, heading into the conference tournament. We were able to have that week before we went into the WNIT, but then fatigue settled in too as we hit that Sweet 16 point. So what helps you is being able to play more players early in the season.
For the job that Amy and Jordan did tonight.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's so fun for our team to be able to have depth in the post, and when we make rotations, we can still maintain size with those rotations. The last few years when we've made those rotations, a lot of times we've had to change the look of our team, and we just didn't have the size. So if something was working and we had to get Jordan out, when we would go in, sometimes we had to really adjust a lot. And so it's been fun to be able to have not just Amy and Jordan, but Carol and Ella and Ola. I thought Ola had a really nice game with her limited minutes tonight as well.
Talk about the third quarter a little bit, 26-6 advantage, and is that kind of what you like to see coming out of the halftime?
Well, I really like their focus defensively, and they let the defense kind of start their offense. I thought they did a pretty good job taking care of the ball as well. And I think a lot of times when you're playing really good defense, it will carry over to the offensive end, and you'll play efficiently there as well.
Did the 3-point shooting turn around in the second half for you? Did you notice a difference there?
Yeah, I mean, we hit a few more, I think, but we don't make a big deal of if it goes in or not, just was it the right shot or not. You just got to trust your training, and the shots are going to fall.
I think the rebound number was close most of the game. I don't know if it ended up being close, but it was close most of the games.
We out-rebounded them by, it looks like, 12.
Okay.
But they did have in that second quarter a stretch of O-boards. And, we talked a lot about that in the halftime, some adjustments that we needed to make.
A couple of seem to be just air balls that came up short that you girls couldn't adjust to. Is that something that you can react to?
Guards were leaking out.
Yeah.
And not boxing out, and so that put a lot of pressure on our bigs to have to battle outnumbered, and that's, I think, what you were saying too.
Obviously, the big name was Amber. She started off a little slow. Was there some jitters with her, or was it?
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah.
Well, Amber, she's she is a great player to coach. She's so fun to coach, and she's not somebody who's like, I gotta get mine. You saw her 2 times today pass up her shot and go for an extra pass. And she knows that if my teammates can get their confidence up and they're hitting shots, it's gonna make my scoring easier, not just in this game, but down the road as well. And I think that's evidence of her confidence in her own ability, as much as it is, jitters or anything else, yeah.
Obviously, some big games. This wasn't one of the necessarily the biggest games, but you got LSU on the schedule. You've got Notre Dame on the schedule. Obviously, Texas A&M on the schedule. How does a game like this help you prepare for a team like that?
Well, the game that we're most looking forward to is Sam Houston State. That's a big game.
Yeah.
I know it's probably not the quote you want, but it's the quote, what we talk about and what is the focus is that, it's the next possession is the most important possession and the next game is the most important game, and you cannot look down the road. You don't play up to an opponent, you play down to your training. And so we've got to train at a consistent level, no matter, what game is next or what game we know is coming in 2 weeks. It's Sam Houston State's the most important thing right now. Okay?
Good.
Thank you.